So I'll just take that one off the saw, just take off the bow saw, it's just going to get in your way. And it's giving loads of weight on the back.
Yes.
So it would go into the hedge, but there's loads of stuff here. So then, yeah, cut that one off and then start belting it with a big axe, just below that. So here we have a laid hedge. This has been laid in quite a Midlandsy Cheshire style, even though we're in Devon, because we don't have a bank. So these have been laid at an angle, supported by the stakes to stop it all falling over. And this is done because before there were people were able to buy barbed wire. As hedges grew thicker and taller, they became gappy, and then livestock could get through. So by cutting the stems, as I explained before, just partially cutting them, but keeping the stems alive and laying them over, this will start to grow up nice and thick and produce a big thick barrier, and then that will prevent the livestock from just wandering through fields, and they can keep them where they were. So that was essentially the idea behind hedge laying. So you keep a living hedge by doing this, but by the same token, this has been pretty much coppiced here as well. We talked about coppicing on in the coop over there, and that will also sprout, so you get a big thick growth coming off here, and then in another 5 to 15 years you can lay it again. So what I've done there is made a cut about 3/4 of the way into the stem, and what the key thing is that the bark is intact all the way from the base of that this stem going all the way along, and what that's going to do is that's going to provide enough sap for the rest of the season and for future seasons that the branch can continue to sprout and germinate. And obviously it's then going to grow in a different orientation. So before it was growing directly upwards in the direction of the stem, but now it's going to grow parallel because it's going to grow towards the light. And if you sort of take a look at the hedge then at the moment, it's looking obviously bare because it's winter, but then these stems will start to shoot up and other stems will start to come up from the sides of these branches, come up vertically, and obviously that's going to thicken the hedge out and make a really solid barrier. As well as this having a traditional farming use, laying hedges, it is actually pretty beneficial for wildlife as well. You get this really thick, dense corridor, really, rather than a sort of barrier. So things like your small mammals, certainly reptiles, that sort of thing will move along these, using these as corridors through the countryside. Nice cover, so that they can avoid predation. They're not crossing large areas of open ground, which they don't like to do, particularly dormice. But also you get obviously by taking the hedge down and thinning it initially, you're allowing that ground floor to come up. So more violets, more those traditional wooden plants, your anemones and that sort of thing will come through, and primroses and that sort of thing, famous for it here in Devon. So that's what's coming through, and also then you get the insects as well. And then also these are, it's already very nice and thick, so really good for breeding birds, particularly in places in the country where thorn is laid. Really good for blackbirds, wrens, robins, that sort of thing. They love nesting and this sort of stuff. So really good wildlife benefit for this process as well.